So how about that book of the month? This one was pretty close. As you can tell, I liked all these books. I wouldn't say I really loved any of them. So I felt like any of these four could have been my book of the month in a regular month. But for this one, I'm going to kind of go with the on-paper leader. You know, it's kind of like you look at your preseason starters for an NFL game and you think, okay, well, these will be the people that will lead the team the rest of the way, or this will be the favorite as the season goes along. For me, it was no doubt it was going to be Robert McCammon, and it is the Queen of Bedlam. Now, when I said I was let down by the Queen of Bedlam a little bit, I think it's, again, all these books had such hype behind them that I don't usually listen to that. Because I say, you know, your mileage are going to vary on these things. It's going to be different for everyone. But with this, is I hear so many people that love Speaks Nightbird as much as I do say that Queen of Bedlam, they're finished with the series, or they're current with the series. I'm like, Queen of Bedlam might be my favorite in the entire series. Now, after I started talking to them, I'm like, look, I really like the Massacre storyline, but I feel like they tried to throw like a second storyline in there that I wasn't like who the Queen's identity was. That was not as interesting to me as the Massacre was. And then when the Massacre reveal happened, it was kind of like, that's just not quite as exciting as I was hoping for. And it's not just because I was wrong. I mean, I was wrong. McCammon keeps you guessing in those regards. It did just kind of felt like he forced two storylines into a book where one storyline would have done. And while Speaks Nightbird, which is a longer book, never felt long, this one felt a little long. And that's unusual for me with the Robert McCammon story, because I do think he's an amazing writer. I think that everything I've read by him is at least at worst has been like a 7.5 out of 10. I think he's just incredible. He's going to be one of my favorite authors ever by the time I read more of his material here. And that's no different here. I liked way more than I disliked. I love the introduction of Beryl. I think that the dynamic between Beryl and Matthew is going to be something that I can't wait to follow for a while. But as I've talked to the people that say this is their favorite book in the series, they say it's because it sets the stage for everything that's coming the rest of the way for the series. You know, it sets where the main, I guess you guess the hub, introduced Greyhouse, which is a character was just awesome. You know, it introduces some of the main players that are going to be there the rest of the way. And so I think it's one of those that I'll look back on and like even more. But right now, while it is my book of the month, it had a lot more flaws. And I think, again, Speaks Nightbird was just so perfect. I mean, I don't feel like that book could have been any damn better. And so it just had incredible shoes to fill. So I like where he's headed with this. The prose is still great. I still really like Matthew as a character. I think that, he's powering him up the right way. Like in most traditional, I don't want to say just fantasy, but just traditional literature you have modern day, these characters pick up a sword. It's like, hey, it's a part of my arm. I know how to use this sword like the Greys. And that's not like that. You know, he slowly goes through training with a sword in this and uses some of the things that he has innate ability for to get better at sword fighting. And I love that. I think that's a really, really smart way to do this character. It's much more believable than him just picking up a sword and all of a sudden he's Inigo Montoya. You know, I love that. I love that he actually kind of slow rolled that through the book. And it was from something up here, that was actually made him a better sword fighter. I like that quite a bit. And I think setting up this whole like Avengers-esque kind of team is very, very exciting for what's to come going forward. And it might be predictable that I'm already like, okay, well, I can see what the love interest is going to be for this series. I think I'm here for it because I like Beryl and I like how she didn't put up with no bullshit. I like that quite a bit. That's a kind of character I feel like needs to be the foil for a character like Matthew to kind of keep him grounded. But maybe it's my redhead bias showing through. I don't know. You never know. But yeah, Queen of Bedlam, a very good book. Again, I have more complaints than I do with Speaks Nightbird. But again, Speaks Nightbird was just it's an all-timer. That's an amazing book right there. It's like one of his 3 amazing books. Boys Life, Speaks Nightbird, and Swan Song are all just like 10s, So it's really hard bar to put it up against with those 3 books there. But again, I did like it quite a bit, and it was definitely good enough to be my book of the month. No reservations needed. So the Queen of Bedlam and just Matthew Corbett overall, guys. I hope you guys will check the series out, because I think if you, even if you think that you're like me and you're like historical fiction's kind of hit or miss, I feel like this could be one that you could really get into, and learning about like 1700s New York is a lot of fun.